This is FSD Supervised 12.5.2.1. So I know the current version is 12.5.4 or 12.5.3, depending on what Tesla's testing on your car. This one is the firmware version is 2024.27.10, so it's a little out of date, but it's what I got on my car. And I haven't done a video in a couple of months since this car got 12.4.3 originally. So as usual, just run the video back at twice the speed to see any interesting bits. Well, I speak at a cadence that you can just run the video back at twice the speed and it should be fine. I've done one drive with this version and there were some anomalies I wanted to take some time to point out, which I'm sure will still be there on the next one, but we'll see. This is going to be the Lakeland and back loop. I was contemplating doing a route that would have me go straight here, but the existing videos I have recorded all involve me turning and taking the interstate, so I'm just going to keep doing that for consistency. If I go straight, I end up taking a roundabout and all that stuff, which is more interesting, but from a compare and contrast standpoint, it makes more sense to just do the same route. There is Hurricane Helene, I guess is how it's pronounced, off the coast of Florida, so it might rain, might not rain. Okay, so it handled that turn better. The last time it took that turn, it rode the center lane marker and it couldn't figure out which lane to get into for a bit. So this time that was thankfully a little bit better, but it's done that poorly in the past. On this version, the last time I drove here. My hands are not on the steering wheel. They haven't been since I engaged autopilot. So I'm just looking out the windshield. I will say I don't like the fact that the car chooses this lane because potholes ahoy. I don't know why there's so many potholes here, but there you are. This car runs, it's a 2022 Model Y, and it has ultrasonics on the front and MCU 3. It's got the AMD Ryzen MCU on the inside, and it's hardware 3. So the lesser cameras and the lesser computer, if you will, of what the current generation Teslas have. So hurricanes off the coast. The feeder bands are kind of sweeping over Florida, so it may or may not rain while we're out driving. We'll see. I'm leaving the wipers set to auto for now, and I'm just going to leave them that way in case it starts raining. The gates to my community are a little jacked up. They've added a new mode of operation for the gates, where in addition to being able to use a gate fob or home link to open the gates, you can now scoot really close to the gate and have it fire off your license plate to open the gates. That is interesting. On 12.4.3, every time it would try and cross the threshold of the gates, even if the gates were stuck open, it would stop and wait for the gates. If the gates were closed and I tried to do the license plate reading, it was so close to the gate that it couldn't tell the gate was open. So there's some interesting stuff there. When the gates are working, the car waits too long to proceed through the gates, and it ends up upsetting people behind me. But I figured I would go out and record this video now because I have this version on this car and I want to do that. This was handled well. When I come out of that intersection, if I'm in the left lane, I want to go to the left lane here. If I'm in the right lane, I want to stay in the right lane. I do not want to go into the middle because the other traffic around me, that's what they're going to try and do. Going towards the middle is typically the I'm in a hurry, and this is the express lane, and it ends up being super dangerous. So it's easier to go to the outer lanes and then lane change into this lane. So the maneuver the car just did is ideal. Now, personally, this is about where I would start changing lanes. I think the car is going to wait until I'm past the streetlights, even though they're blinking yellows, which there's a truck behind me. Right, that truck there, and there's a van in my blind spot. So now it's harder to get into the turn lane I need to be in. The car has to slow down and get over. But again, it could have done this way earlier, but this was fine. I honestly probably never would have gotten out of the right lane and into the center lane because that van is the van I got into the center lane to go around, if memory serves. That was not good. So this car, in my opinion, technically had the right of way. I should have waited. I should have pulled the camera up, but yeah, I didn't like that. But out of all the times I've done this route, that is the first time I've had oppositional traffic coming from that direction. Technically, yes, there was enough time for the car to get in, but I'm pretty sure I made them tap the brakes, which is generally no bueno. Now they're going to be trying to be aggressive to get around me. So this is rush hour traffic, so I don't expect to be going very fast here. Well, okay. This is part rush hour traffic and part evacuation traffic because if memory serves, Pinellas County, which is behind me, to the west of here, was told to evacuate some of the low-lying areas. So some of these are probably people just going to the other coast to get away from the hurricane. Lane because in a mile and a half I'm getting off the interstate, and in fact the logic of the car is typically at 1.5 miles it wants to get back over into that lane. So I fully expect that once this car passes me, the Tesla's just going to go right back over again. If they get around me. Yep, so now I'm braking, now I'm going to get behind him. So that lane change was utterly pointless. Probably going to try and scoot in where that semi-truck is going to scoot in. Yeah. So we don't want to do this because we can tell the semi-truck wants to get in that hole. So now I come across as an asshole. And he's going to end up probably cutting me off to get over. What are we going to do? Didn't like that. Like, as a human, I saw that he had his turn signal on, and I would have waited for him to complete his maneuver before getting over there. The vision monitoring has become a little bit more tolerant since 12.4.3. I feel like I'm getting fussed at a little less. Didn't like that. There was something in the road and I ran it over, but it stayed in the road when I went by, so I think my tires are okay, but who knows. There's another piece of it. Looks like a bungee. Looks like somebody was losing bungee cords. going into a lane that's closed. So normally there's barrels there to direct me into this lane. However, the hurricane, normally when there's hurricanes in Florida, they suspend the tolls. So they may have sent somebody out to remove the barrels, and I may not have needed to disengage there. This lane change is unnecessary. It's going to put me right back in the other lane in a minute. That lane change was unnecessary because, or sorry, that lane change was unnecessary, but the toll booth thing is normally managed by barrels, and it's possible that the tolls are currently suspended. I haven't checked before I started the drive. It's possible what it was doing was okay, but big red X over the toll booth lane, it shouldn't have done that. So obviously we'll count that as a disengagement because it was going for what technically should have been construed as a closed lane, even though the barrels aren't there. Followed by an unnecessary lane change. Now I will say it did that better than the previous versions. Previous versions, it would half change lanes and then get back over again. This time it completely changed lanes and got back over again. But it's a maneuver that it shouldn't have done in the first place. That was handled beautifully. Previous versions have started trying to change into the right lane. The right lane ends. So if it tries to do that, I will be aborting it. Yep. So I don't want to do that because the lane ends like right here. So that's another unnecessary lane change. So one disengagement and one intervention so far. That pay attention is because I stared at the screen to make sure it was all looking on the up and up. I feel like I need a little bit more time to be able to look at that screen and process what I'm seeing in addition to the road. And again, that's a side effect of the fact that we have put the screen in the center of the car instead of behind the wheel, which is fine. It just means you get fussed at every now and then. So this is not the version with actually smart summon. So once I park, I'm just going to set the return destination and head out. I think I'm going to let it go all the way. Stop sign, so that's fine. Are we slow for a speed bump? That's good. And then I really hate this speed bump with an absolute passion. Ah, jeez. Alright, now what are we gonna do? I'm gonna do like last time, just keep going in a circle. It wants to pull over but doesn't know where or how. And that's cool. Okay, that's what I want to see. It's a little past the mark, but I do want to see it stop. I'm going to pull forward a little bit and let it do the auto park. Do that one. Perfect. Yep. All right, and that's what we'll do. All right, now I can't do that route. I have to leave through here. There used to be, well, one, I'm not there. There used to be, you can see it here, a cut through, but they've since put a fence in there. So let's see what happens. Now somebody's doing a flat. So you can't turn. We gotta go this way. Now, would have been better to go down the other lane, but this one's fine. That's a good slowing for the speed bump. Still can't do what the car wants to do. It's got to go out the parking lot up ahead. Which there is a stop sign. Oh, nice, it stopped. Not very traffic friendly stop, but it did it. And we need to replot to go left. We need to replot to go left. There we go. We need to replot to go left. No, you're not going to do it. You're going to go the wrong way. That's fine. I will let it do that. That's fine. So the key thing for me is I want to go down Harden and get on to the 570, I think, at the Pope Parkway from Frontage Rd. So if I turn left here and loop around, that's fine. That's close enough to what I'm trying to do. But we still need better close-up navigation data for parking lots and stuff. That's a very similar issue to what I ran into last time on 12.4.3. And the car did plot properly, and all it had to do was turn the other turn signal on. It felt committed to take that other turn and didn't want to do it, which is fine. Yeah. Car's decision. But if I was, in a robo-taxi, I'd be freaking out, oh my gosh, I'm being kidnapped. There's a thing in the way. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you handled that fine. That's my fault. I should have looked left. There was a plastic strip in the middle of the road to act as a lane divider. now that I'm stopped. I want to take the interstate, not US 92. And green light for opposing traffic currently. So the goal, while we're stopped here for a minute, is this is the Polk Parkway, this is Frontage, this is Harden. We got to go from Harden directly onto the Polk Parkway. 12.3 did it okay, 12.4 did it badly, so we'll see how 12.5 does. In an ideal world, what you're supposed to do is straight line it across, which 12.3 did. 12.4 would get into the lane and then try and lane change its way over, which ended up being ham-fisted and not well confusing to anybody following me who was straight lining it. Driver of the black SUV to my left is texting while driving. So that's a good lane change. That's exactly what I would do. So here, we're on a green light, so we're okay. No oncoming traffic or anything. Here we need to straight line. That's better, but we're gonna miss it. Yeah, see, that was sloppy. The next thing we're gonna fight, if we watch the speed limit, we're gonna go up to 60, 65 maybe. Where is it? No, it sees 25. There's 65. It's going to see the 25 mile an hour sign. And now it's going to try and merge me onto the interstate at 25 miles an hour. Which, as you can probably imagine, is not safe. So I'm going to hold the accelerator. No, it's going to figure itself out. There we go. Okay, so not ideal at all. When I'm driving manually, I just hold my foot down to get back up to speed, or I run the scroll wheel up. But when I'm on this profile, I have the auto speed thing set, and it's stuff like that I can't use it for because it drives too slow. Like, I get there was a speed limit sign. It did say 25 miles an hour. It's totally right. But that's not... It's 25 miles through the booth and then go back up to 65, you know. There's some human logic there that basically a human would look at that and go, okay, I'm supposed to go 25 through the booth and then I can floor it again. I did tap the accelerator a smidge, so we can call that an intervention. And again, the merge from Harden through Frontage onto the Polk Parkway, there was no traffic behind me, so it was okay, but it was sloppy. It needs to not try and get into that first lane properly and then slowly change lanes over. It just needs to cut across the traffic. Guy behind me's tailgating me and I don't know why. So up ahead we see a vehicle with blinky lights. Florida law says I need to change lanes into the left lane. I will stay here until I feel like I should have changed lanes. That is one of the reasons why we're not supposed to be in the right lane. Whoa, hey, what are we doing? That is one of the reasons why we're not supposed to be in the right lane when passing traffic like that, is because people can get back on the road out of nowhere. You might hurt a pedestrian inside of the side of the road. So again, that's Florida law says I should not be in that lane when there's somebody on the shoulder. And it's actually interesting because the car normally has logic of getting out of rightmost lane, and I have always assumed that the logic for getting out of rightmost lane was to avoid the scenario I was just in, but it did not. So yeah, didn't like that, so we'll call that another intervention. And I did not touch the steering wheel. All I did was touch the turn signal. Stock. Because I got stocks, not buttons. Actually, you know, in thinking about it, that's kind of an interesting use case for those sexy button things. My right hand is typically on my lap, and I could, in theory, put some of those buttons such that I could just move my hand over and hit a turn signal. Not sure if it can do that, but that's an interesting thought. So I don't have to reach for the stock or accidentally screw with the steering wheel. If I was driving manually, I would have changed lanes much sooner. far right lane in 2 miles, but honestly, the way traffic is flowing, I'm fine with this. If traffic were thicker, I wouldn't bother. But nobody's really evacuating to Pinellas. They're evacuating from Pinellas, so this is fine. This is actually, it's really good. The car behind me is not too close, so I think the logic is pretty decent there. I'm happy with that one. It got into that lane to scoot ahead, and then it immediately got back into the center lane. That was well done. I like that. Now, if I was driving, this is the pocket that I would try and get into. It's nice, clean, and easy, but I've got 0.4 miles before the car is probably going to realistically try and get over. Best case scenario, it gets in front of the truck with the yellow stuff on it. Whatever that is. Oh, it's a truck towing a truck. It's a truck towing a truck that has a scissor lift on it. That's interesting. So, okay, so that works out. I'm okay with that. Taking this turn, the far left lane is a turn lane. I don't want to go into that. I want to go into the second lane from the left, which, that's good. That's what I want. This lane change is a little unnecessary. It's going to piss off that white truck. Which, why he's not just going straight up. Yeah, he's probably trying to cut all across all 3 lanes. No, you just really wanted to be in this lane. Why? That lane that you were in goes straight. I swear, it's like people don't pay attention to road markings. So these lights, normally it pulses the brakes for. Let's see what we get. There's a guy behind me, so I'm going to hover the gas, accelerator, whatever we call it these days. Huh. It did not pulse the brakes. That's interesting. Well, that's fixed. For now. Dealership, they still got Teslas in the lot. They just put them in the back instead of front and center. That's funny. I actually emailed the owner of this lot and was like, "You need to start servicing Teslas if you're going to sell them." That was done well. I like that. They didn't go flying out of my seat. That was good. But I emailed the owner of that dealership and was like, "Hey, you guys," because the parts center is like the Tesla warehouse for parts is 5 or 10 minutes from here, you know, and it's like that Ford dealership is primed to be able to service a lot of Teslas in the Lakeland area. I really wish Tesla would just open up a service center here or something. Don't even do deliveries from it, just raw service. right out of the parts warehouse. So yeah, so as a whole, better, not better. You know, the toll booth was a disengagement, but again, there's a hurricane. Florida tends to suspend the tolls, so the barrels that normally block the lane are missing. So I don't know whether or not that lane was actually open. I'll look at my receipts on SunPass when I get home and see if I got billed for the toll. If I didn't get billed for the toll, then I will say it's me making the mistake, not the car. If I did get billed for a toll, then it's the car, because there was the red X. It shouldn't have gone. I should have treated it like I don't want to say a red light, because you shouldn't stop in the flow of traffic, but a don't go here. There was the unnecessary lane change after the toll booth, where it eventually fixed itself. It tried to get into the turn lane near the target that ended. That's not even a turn lane, it's just a lane that ends. Shouldn't have done that. It failed to get itself out of the parking lot of the business that I went to. Well, that's going to piss off the car behind me. And then there was the whole... ooh, that's wide. Wide. But I know you're trying to miss the pothole. It failed to go above 25 miles an hour to get onto the 570, and it was sloppy getting onto the 570 as well. It also did not get out of the right turn lane, so there's a lot of room for improvement. They did fix the blinking yellow light. A lot of the handling seems better. It's the damn navigation data that, again, is more or less screwing this up. And I would really love to hear more about how Tesla's handling the navigation data, because I feel like that's the problem. But thanks for watching.